In this BDSM audiobook, Eliza ruled the club, craving control. Nate defied her whips in a wild clash. Now her forbidden lust hunts his rebel heart. Will she bind him? Dive into the tale.
Chapter 6. Routine Affairs. When I stepped inside, Henry sat by the window in his office, sunglasses pushed up into his thick reddish blonde hair, clearly watching the new slaves cross the garden below. He shifted, flashing a quick smile, then ambled toward me with his usual slow, graceful stride, thumbs hooked in his back pockets. His deep-set eyes narrowed slightly, brows furrowed, his sunburned face creased with deep lines, like those a Texan gets early from hot, dry weather, lines that never fade. Seeing him always brought to mind his club nickname, the Wolf. "Eliza, darling," he said, "we missed you. Don't ask how much. It'd only worry you. Give me a kiss." At 24, he was the youngest executive chief we'd ever had, the head of volunteer slaves, and one of the tallest trainers in the club. I'd always thought height didn't matter. It was all in the bearing. But with Henry's presence, it sure added a hell of a lot of shine. He handled slaves effortlessly, directing them with a whip, startling them. His gestures were so slow, so languid, the slaves marveled at that power. Despite his sunken eyes and frequent squinting, he often wore an expression that melted doubts, open, curious, instantly affectionate toward every slave he saw. As head of volunteer slaves, he was flawless, crystal clear in his words. The best administrator, perpetually thrilled by what he had to do, lost in the club's essence. He focused on the slaves he directly controlled with an almost painful intensity, treating the club like a deity. That stark truth carried a striking freshness that impressed me deeply. My arms wrapped around him, lips pressing his cheek, a faint embarrassment stirring inside me. "I missed you too, everything about you," I said, but my voice sounded odd to my own ears. I wasn't back to normal yet. "Some minor issues, beautiful," he said. "Right when they're almost ready?" I meant the volunteer slaves. "Can't it wait?" "I think you can handle it fast, but it needs your touch." He darted behind the desk, sliding a file toward me. "New member, Jerry McAllister, 1-year full package, sponsored by 6 other members, all here, ready to talk him through it, tell him what to do, but he doesn't know how to start." Full package meant he'd paid the top membership fee, $250,000 a year, free to come and go as he pleased. He could stay all year if he wanted. They never did. The club operated a bit like a bank in that sense, banking on the fact that not everyone withdraws their money on the same night. I sat behind the desk, opening the file. A 40-year-old domestic computer millionaire from Silicon Valley with sprawling property in San Mateo and a private Learjet. "He's had a few drinks with friends on the terrace," Henry explained. "Now he's in his room, waiting for someone to give him a nudge. He wants a young female slave, dark hair, dark skin." I sent Cynthia in, but he sent her back, saying he needs someone to guide him, like a demo hand in the computer world. I figured you might stop by, talk to him. He's agreed to come back this afternoon. "If I can find someone, I'm not going," I said, picking up the phone. "Get me Monica now." Monica was the only trainer I trusted with this. If she wasn't around, I'd have to go. She was. "Hi, Eliza. I was just heading down." "Turn back, will you, Monica?" I briefed her on Jerry McAllister. Straight, smokes a little, drinks a little, maybe some cocaine, workaholic, the works. "Take Deborah with you. Tell him you'll check back after showing him the ropes. Deborah might pick up the guidance bit from there. She can turn a Peter Pan into a Marquis de Sade without saying a word." "Of course, Eliza. Leave him to me." "Thanks, Monica. 15 minutes. Don't miss the guidance lesson. Promise him we'll both stop by this afternoon." I hung up, looking at Henry. "All good?" "Yes." "I thought you'd want to handle it yourself. We could have stalled a few minutes." That same look I'd seen on Vivienne and Miles's faces crossed his. "I'm a bit worn out from vacation," I said before he could ask the inevitable question. "Plane was late." I glanced at the other files. A centaur trainer from Switzerland, here to sell us slaves rigged with harnesses, bridles, and ropes to pull rickshaws and carriages. Cute. So why did I feel a headache coming on? Don't bother with it all, Henry said. We'll see the adorable pony stable tomorrow. He sank into the chair across the desk. What's this? I picked up a scribbled phone message. Some kid claiming he was coerced? Nonsense. A gorgeous young satyr. Real Persian boy type. Last night, he told the yacht boys he was a captive, kidnapped in Istanbul. He's lying. He's from New Orleans, just skittish. You're sure? We brought him in this morning. Lawrence is with him now. 9 out of 10, he's already admitted he's scared. If he was captured, it was in Darius's palace before Alexander invaded. I reached for the phone. We hated interrupting masters in their private studios over slave issues, but this needed settling now. The ring was soft. Slaves' reactions to it were always amusing. For some slaves and masters, it shattered the dream. For others, it heightened submission. The master pauses to answer, while the suffering slave waits for more scrutiny and trials. Lawrence's voice came in his usual cautious whisper. Yes? How's it going? I said. A slow, resonant laugh. He's confessed everything. Pure lies. Just panicked. You should hear the tale he spun. I'll get you the tape. He turned his mouth from the receiver, issuing a command to the slave in the room. Mostly about being poisoned, he said. Stripped, shipped north on the Orient Express. Big question now. Send him downstairs for 3 days of hard punishment or nurse him? Nurse him. If he's that scared, I think it's key you care for him. Punish the lying, sure, but no hard labor. He'd lose himself. That's what I figured, but he's getting punished. Make sure I get that tape. I want to hear the story. I set the receiver down. A dazzling scene flared in my mind, intricate as a roller coaster at some amusement park. We should have a train down there, an old steam engine with ornate vintage cars. Use it to shuttle slaves around the grounds, auction them off to members on the platform, host little parties in the sleepers with slaves at hand. Not the Orient Express, but the Eden Express. I like that name. I could see golden swirls. Eden Express. Yes, everything on it Edwardian style. Maybe as our operation grew across the island, we'd really need transport like that. Miles of tracks. Suddenly, I saw rails stretching endlessly, as if land and sea weren't solid anymore. The Eden Express chugging on, its giant eye piercing the night's darkness, rolling out of this little Eden toward the unknown. God, you've gotten so soft, Henry said out of nowhere. It felt abrupt. I'd just seen myself in a white dress, boarding the Eden Express. Last year, you'd have put that boy on 2 weeks of hard labor. Would I? A white hat on my head, a white handbag in tow, dressed a bit like that girl the old man in Citizen Kane remembered, the one he glimpsed on a ferry years ago and never forgot. She wore a white dress. Was that what he said? The thought of someone remembering me like that. Delicious madness. Somewhere in my luggage was a new white dress, a white straw hat with long white ribbons. Did that match your black leather straps and tall boots? I think you made the right call, of course, Henry said. I stared at him, trying to focus. Either way works, he went on. It's solemn stuff. Stay firm, keep the course, and it all pans out. That kid's terrified, I said. Henry was talking about the kid, right? What time is it? I asked. 15 minutes till they hit the hall. Don't tell me who you've got your eye on. Let me guess. I don't want to hear it, I said, forcing a smile. Henry was always spot on. He could scan files, match slaves to trainers, and nail who'd pick who. The others had to haggle and bid, but I got first choice. A blonde guy named Nathaniel Nate Carver, he teased. How'd you know? My face felt hot, probably blushing. Ridiculous. We'd played this game 1,000 times. Nate Carver's a handful, he said. A real one who stepped into this world. Plus, he's damn good looking. They're all good looking, I said, admitting nothing. What about that L.A. girl, Clara Donovan? Scott's already smitten with her. I bet you'll take Nate Carver. Scott was the trainer of trainers. He, Henry, and I, formed what others called the Holy Trinity, truly running the club. "You're saying I should pick Nate Carver for Scott's sake," I said. Scott was an artist among trainers. Half the time, his pics ended up showcased in the trainer's classroom as working models. A dizzying experience for a slave. "Nonsense," Henry laughed. "Scott loves Carver too. But he's stepping back. He knows you. Carver's from your mentor, Julian Wentworth, in San Francisco. Julian sends us geniuses, philosophers, real lunatics. What did he say? Reads Russian novels word for word." "Cut it out, Henry," I said, trying to sound casual. "Julian's a romantic. We get flesh and blood." That kind of talk unnerved me. That desperate feeling again, like missing something crucial. A real headache. Shouldn't have had that gin. "Eliza loves Nate," he sang under his breath. "Shut up," I snapped, surprising us both. "I mean, let's see how it plays out. You guys are too sharp for me." "All right, let's head down slow," he said. "Get out before the phone rings again." Good idea. The slaves were probably assembling already. "I bet you'll pick Carver. If you don't, I owe you $100. "Not fair telling me that, is it?" I forced another smile. Scott waited for us in the hall, his glossy black leather pants and vest clinging like a second skin. He greeted me with his usual warmth, then kissed me, arm around my waist. The trainers had nicknamed him Black Dog, and it fit, like Henry fit, the wolf. He oozed physical affection effortlessly. We'd never slept together, which fueled a delicious tension, a flirtatious spark every time we touched. Just watching Scott cross a room taught you a thing or two about sensuality. I hugged him tight for a moment. His muscles were firm, radiating heat. "If this is about a slave named Nathaniel Nate Carver," I said, "don't sweet-talk me. It's not fair." "Whatever Eliza wants, Eliza gets," he replied, planting another long kiss. "But maybe not as fast as you think." "What's that mean?" "Sweetheart, your little guy's a live wire. He just pulled a stunt at the bandstand, brought the house down." "What did he do?" "Mocked the whole showcase in glorious style," Scott laughed. "They yanked him from the lineup." "Henry?" I said, turning to him instantly. "Don't expect me to go as soft as you did just now," Henry said. "I'm not the type to turn tender,